How many snaps did they run in the 14 personnel?
That's only for us.
100% of the snaps.
What's going on? Welcome in. We are here. It is week 1. You're with 14 personnel. We're talking studs and duds. Again, guys, we expect, go and call them boom bust, breakout bust, whatever you want to call it. We're talking guys you should bench, guys you should start. Let's just get into it right off the bat. We got Jalen Hurts. Week 1. This is a stud matchup as far as I'm concerned, a stud play, if you will. Jalen Hurts against Atlanta is the upside game you're looking for when you draft him. Atlanta profiles to be a bottom 5 defense again. There's really, I don't care what changes they make, what new defensive coordinator they bring in. They don't have the talent on that side of the ball to do what they need to do, to win games or limit quarterback play. They were the worst team defensively last year against the quarterback for fantasy production. Enter Jalen Hurts, a guy that's probably going to run for 100 yards in week 1, maybe throw for another 200, 250, and you throw in a couple touchdowns in what, expects to be a shootout style game against two pretty bad defenses. Jalen Hurts is a top 5 quarterback week 1 as far as I'm concerned. And if you have him, you need to be playing him. If you had drafted 2 quarterbacks, heaven forbid you didn't. Let's say you drafted 2 quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts is one of them. He's getting the start for me over pretty much anybody not named Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Kyler. I think Hurts is in that conversation with Dak Prescott and Justin Herbert for week 1. So if you have Jalen Hurts, you need to play him. He's going to be a stud. He's going to be a boom play as far as we're concerned here at 14P. Moving on to number 2, a guy that I am extremely excited about for the entirety of the season, but I think week 1 might be a little bit different here. You go with DeAndre Swift against the 49ers. He's coming in as a dud play, and I get it. If you have DeAndre Swift, he's likely your RB2. If you got lucky, he's your RB3 if you grabbed him in the 4th. But it's gonna be tough to expect a big game from him on a pretty bad Lions offense against a very stout defense, especially against the running backs in San Francisco. And 3, DeAndre Swift isn't fully, quote unquote healthy. It's really a conditioning issue, it seems like, but that's not the kind of guy I'm excited to play week 1. And I understand, like I said there, you probably have to play DeAndre Swift. There's most likely not another option on your bench that you can project for more points than DeAndre Swift. However, there's a real world where he does not finish inside the top 20 running backs. And if you drafted him, that's not what you want. You're expecting much more. So you have him, you probably got to play him. But I think we, collective we, myself included, are going to be disappointed by DeAndre Swift here, against the 49ers in week 1. Moving on, first wide receiver on our list here. I'm a Bears fan. We're looking at Bears wide receivers here. We have Allen Robinson, and it pains me to say this is going to be a terrible game for Allen Robinson. He's gone up against Jalen Ramsey twice the last 2 years. He has 4 catches for 70 yards in 2020 and 4 catches for 15 yards in 2019. Even last year, he had 1 catch for 42 yards when he was covered by Jalen Ramsey. And there's not really an upgrade at quarterback. There's nothing dynamic back there. Right now, it's Andy Dalton. Basically the exact same as Nick Foles and Mitch Trubisky last year. It's going to be ugly behind a already banged up offensive line that won't give Dalton time to let Allen Robinson really operate or work. There's a real chance he is outside the top 24 wide receivers week 1. And you're in a similar spot you are with DeAndre Swift. You drafted him to be your wide receiver 1 or 2 most likely, and he's a guy you want to lock into your lineup no matter what. I get it. It's tough. It's going to be a bad game. Again, unless he finds the end zone, he's probably capped out at around 12 to 13 points. He's not going to have the volume or the yardage. So if you have other wide receiver spots around him to fill, the way you combat this is you fill it with high upside plays. Marquez Callaway, Marvin Jones, guys that could go off for, 3 catches, 80 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Those type of players those are the type of guys you need to put into your flex spot or your other wide receiver spot to still give you some upside because I don't think you get it from Allen Robinson in week 1. And moving on to our last player on the list here, a guy I have been pretty staunchly against if just for the entirety of the offseason. However, Deebo Samuel comes in as a stud for week 1. When you're looking at Deebo Samuel right now, he projects with Brandon Ayuk on the mend. Again, he's going to play, but we don't know in what capacity. Brandon Ayuk coming off of that hamstring injury, if you haven't heard. It's a supposedly minor injury. He's going to practice this week, but still, it doesn't seem like he's going to be 100%. And I want a piece of that San Francisco receiving game, especially against Detroit. They were the worst team against wide receivers last year as far as fantasy production goes, which means, wide receivers feasted. Jeff Okudah and Desmond Trufant last year were just terrible. Trufant is out. Okudah is now the quote-unquote cornerback 1 there, but who knows how much he improves from his very poor year 1 performance. He was allowing just under 5 catches a game. Deebo Samuel could have a monster game here. He carries top 20 wide receiver upside, and if you have him, he is someone I am putting into my lineup all day long. He needs to be in your lineup. In reality, you're not going to find a better matchup, and with Brandon Ayuk potentially not 100%, I think this is potentially Deebo's highest targeted week of the season, unless that injury lingers for Ayuk, which it could with the hamstring, but still, week 1, Deebo's healthy. This is when you play him. Again, we know the health concerns are there, but it's just a bad defense. So it's a great spot for Deebo. And again, you may not have 100% of Brandon Ayuk there. So if you got Deebo, you need to play him. All right, guys, that's it. We're here. We made it. Remember to subscribe to the 14P YouTube channel. Follow me over on Twitter at Justin_14P. Good luck out there. Let's go get some wins, and we will see you guys next time. See ya.
How many snaps did they run in the 14 personnel?
That's only for us.
100% of the snaps.